Joined by Brian Pillman. Oh, no, it's Kenny Omega. Thanks for being here today. You remind me of Brian. I've always said that.
I've heard that from many a source.
That's a compliment. It's not.
I take it as a compliment.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
Yes, the utmost of. But when I was training, and I use that term loosely.
Yeah, because you were never really trained. I just heard
No,
you talk about it.
I was self-trained pretty much. I don't know, I was truly accepted amongst that world, and that's always what I wanted. You know, was like I said before, to bridge that gap between like the gaming world and wrestling. So the van fell through. The front tires went, back tires are skidding, back tires fall. The van starts slowly sinking. I'm thinking, my God. I see the van door open up, like the side sliding door. Guys are jumping out as the water's filling in. And I'm thinking, oh my, is this going to be like one of those deals where it's like Titanic, you know, the final scene where he's like sinking, he's like, ah. But no, I don't know why, but just Harley didn't like me. And he was like, you know, if I call your name, you're in Group A. Don't call your name, you're Group B. You get the hail across the street, you're training in the small ring, training in the girls' ring. And so he calls out all the people, and and this is not like a knock on a lot of the guys there, but just a lot of guys there weren't very good, like at all.
Right.
And it was just clear who had competence in the ring and who didn't. So just go back across the street, tell him that I sent you back here and that you're too good to be too good to be a part of Group B. Says, and then if Harley's got a problem, you know, he can talk with me afterwards, and I'll try to take the heat from there. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
So he's like, don't disappoint me. I was like, no, I won't. So I ran across the street like, yeah. And then from there, Harley, you know, I told Harley, I was like, yeah, Trevor said I should come back here because I belong in Group A. And he's like, he did he? I was like, yeah. My relationship with Bill kind of fell apart, and I just sort of kind of became like the scapegoat for a lot of things. I felt that, you know, there was like this nice guy, Bill, that I'd met, and then it was like, wow, I'm like suddenly on the set of Tough Enough, you know what I mean? Looking back.
How was Bill as a trainer? Do you feel that he took advantage of people?
I think that he certainly took advantage of his position of power. If I were to run a seminar, for example, or if I were to train anybody, I would not tell them, I wouldn't try to train them something that I didn't understand. I would try to train them something that I could, like, what are you going to do? There were times when people would sit out or whatever, and then they would just get made fun of, you know? And I did understand that, because that's like being the hard coach, like, you know, what's the matter? You know, can't handle it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I do get that. But I mean, we had guys that were getting legitimately hurt, like guys blowing out their knees, guys tearing their biceps. And these are on stupid drills that never made them a better wrestler. There was no need for it whatsoever. And we would have Make a Deal Fridays where, I mean, Bill must have known that everyone hated the training, so he would always leave it open for a guy to make a deal, to do something just astronomically insane to get out of training. And so that's when I was doing things like slamming like a heavy bag as many times as I could within a minute, like just a crazy number. Johnny Ace had just been to the center, and he had said, if anyone ever feels like quitting, don't just pack your bags and leave and then make us wonder where you are. Like, talk to me first and we'll see if we can figure something out. So I didn't want to be one of the guys that just disappears off the face of the planet, so I emailed Johnny, and I had said, hey, like, my heart isn't really in this. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if I'm going to be honest, even before coming here, my goal was to be in Japan. And had Saban come out and he did business. He had a great match with me, and he put me over.
Right.
Red put in over a half hour. We had a great match where people said, you know, it was like match of the year for the company, and he put me over in the end. Even Styles came out there, no questions asked. He put me over. I never wanted to or needed to go over in any of these matches. I was just happy to be in the ring with them and learn from them and have the chance to see if I could hang. When Joe came out, and this is just, I don't know all the details of the story, but from what I hear, there was a problem with who had to go over. And my promoter wanted me up, However, Joe, or Joe's agent at the time, I guess it would have been Bill Barnes.
Bill Barnes.
Yeah, did not like that. And so to kind of be put in a position where I was going to be in a tournament facing Jerry Lynn in a one-on-one contest. Like, I mean, Key takes his training very seriously. When Key does a move, any kind of a move out of his move set, he does it full blast. He uses 100% of his energy. He doesn't. It's safe, but he doesn't hold anything back. He puts all of the energy, from his tank and expels it into his movements. So he looks very explosive. And a lot of guys would rather just kind of, it's fake wrestling, so whatever. Here we go. But Key was never like that, and he was also really good with his bumping too. He had a real kind of original explosive way to bump, which I had a pretty successful tryout with Ring of Honor, and then I knew I was being brought back. And I don't know, it sort of got a little rocky when they were trying to find its footing after Gabe's departure.
Right.
I was just kind of just doing matches. I was never really involved in any real storylines. Every now and then, so just based on that video, not really like my actual in-ring work. I was getting offers from PWG. My first offers from the UK came because of that match.
Right.
That's on my first, and that first offer was for Bola, Battles of Los Angeles. And a couple of fluke things happened within that. I mean, we had a chase scene, and I ran all around the building, outside the building. It ended up being real funny. And that was as a result of me running the ropes breaking, me flipping over, landing on my head, everyone thinking I was paralyzed. Well, I'm not just putting them over because they're friends of mine, but also because they're just insanely good and talented. But as relates to myself, we just have some really good chemistry against each other. And a lot of my real fun encounters in PWG were with the Young Bucks, especially lately. So anytime I go back, I always hope that we can mix it up together. Now that we're in the Bullet Club, we'll probably be a team together.
Right.
But questionable, however.
Right.
You know what I mean? Questionable. And I do believe the monkey won. He took the banana in the end. So it's not like it was all for naught.
Yeah.
And then the dormitory battle, I mean, they went to DDT's dorm and they're fighting all through all the beds and tipping over lockers. And someone put a locker on top of them, did a frog splash in the locker. It was just crazy things and sort of up my alley. Our first match together was best 2 out of 3 falls, and they won match of the year. So from there, I came up with this idea that we should, instead of being rivals, be a team that formed the Golden Lovers, and we around wrestling with guys like Kobashi and Masao and Kawada and all them. That somehow the art of being able to do that wasn't passed down to the next generation. So it's just a bunch of guys doing big moves and doing a ton of damage onto your body for no reason. So I wanted to take things back and make it more North American, make a clear heel, a clear baby face. And, you can't really ask someone if they're set in their ways and set in their character.
Did they understand that psychology? Or?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. That's why I took it upon myself. Okay, I'll just be the bad guy. You do what you do.
Right.
And there were things that this girl could do. And there are things that this girl wanted to learn, and things that she wanted to hit in the match. She came from a shootboxing background, so they wanted to show off that she knew some fancy kicks.
Right.
Yeah. So she showed me on little pads or whatever what kind of kicks she could do, and some of it was pretty cool looking for a little girl to do.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to get all those in, and I wanted her to waffle me with them, of course. I should be able to take it, or even if it hurt or if I got bopped in the nose or something, it'd be funny to get color, right? So, she had a real interest in kind of lucha type stuff.
Right.
So I kind of came up with some stuff that she could possibly do to it's not that we're anti-WWE at all, but it's the WWE alternative. It's like what NWO was. It wasn't a WWE product. It was WCW's, and thus that kind of added a little bit of coolness to it because it wasn't part of the big thing going on. So here's a group of talented wrestlers, and some of which are the most talented in the world, and they're part of the same faction, and they're doing what they want to do. They're all dressing with this cool looking insignia on their shirts. Yeah, I mean, of course it's going to catch on, right?
Yeah.
Especially if they're booked. Working with them actually in singles competition, both Shelly and Kushida, those were probably up there with like the highlight of my cleaner career.
A lot of people want to know if there's ever going to be talks in the future with you and WWE to go to NXT. Or is there talks? I think that just answered everything.
Yeah. No.
If you can't talk about it, you can't talk about it.
No, that's not it. I can talk. When I look at the current roster, and then I notice a lot of the guys that I just know I could tear the house down with. Actually, if I look on like a global scale, out of all the promotions, you know, which top guys could I do the best business with? Which top guys could I work with that could evoke the most emotion out of a crowd with? A lot of those guys, I'll just say it, most of them are at NXT now. And for me, who is someone
Yeah,
with...
Balor Club T-shirt.
Yeah.
Am I foreshadowing here? Could there be a Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and some other guys coming in NXT?
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Starting the Balor Club?
That'd be pretty cool.
Who